Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to our first match of the evening. It's going to be LGD China versus Rising Stars. Your winner's bracket, round one match. Loser of this series, they're not eliminated, but they drop down to the loser's bracket. Only 2 teams advance out of this phase to your grand finals to be held in 2 days' time. I'm LD, joined here by Lumi. Lumi, wouldn't have anyone else here by my side.
Thank you.
Good to have you, buddy.
That makes me feel good. It's gonna be LG here on the on the dire side, starting on the best of 3 series. Rising Star on the Raiden. I feel like dropping down to the loser bracket doesn't mean as much in this particular tournament. I mean, if you're gonna have to win the thing, you have to beat everybody. That's including the grand finals, which 2 days from now.
Sure, 2 teams advance. I mean, in the end, if you make it out of this round, you do get to go to Seattle, but it's one thing to get to attend the big dance. It's another thing to actually get to compete in it.
Right, and also that's 3 months of like, are we really in TI? That's a lot of stress.
Yeah.
There's Mouseboard waiting on the other side, and they're no slouch as a team.
The one thing is, you get to prepare.
DD, sorry.
You get to you know who you're playing, so you talk about preparation. If preparation makes a difference here for Rising Stars, well, let's say they make it as your second place team.
Sure.
They now have 3 months to prepare for one opponent.
Right. Well, let's try to get ourselves in the game. If there's people loading in it.
Yeah, seems like we might not have loaded yet.
Yeah.
So, Lumi, you made your prediction. You think Rising Stars, they'll actually take a game off of LGD, but you don't think they'll take the series. Can you talk more about that?
Yeah, I just don't think so. I feel like the individual skill level of the players are a lot better on the LG side. They have a ton more experience. They've been in high-stakes situations. They know how to recover from kind of like awkward timing. If you do like a level 1 roadshow, they will kind of just draw the game out and recover. They just have a ton of weapons. From heroes, we've seen Kunga, talked about previously. They just seen it all. So I feel like...
So you give me all this. I agree with you. How is Rising Stars going to take this game? Take one of these games, I should say. Someone's waving at us. People are waving at us. Okay. We have our group standings here. I'm not sure what's going on, Lumi, but yeah, we do have our group standings. So you see how the teams finished through the groups. We'll actually won't load this first game, so I'll have a quick reload here. But I mean, for LGD, it was a smooth and easy run for their group. 2-0. I never really felt like they were stressed or really put to the test by Rattlesnake or any of these other teams.
Yeah, and that's you expect them to have that performance. And going back to that group again, they were winning harder and harder. It seems like in every single match. So either they figure out the opponent on the second game, or they're just getting better and better as a team. Maybe a combination of both.
Yeah, guys, we'll have a quick reload here. Hopefully, game 1 will get underway pretty soon. Apparently, we need to kick somebody who isn't loading, but we'll get that sorted out. So, Lumi. It's going to be a long night. We have 3 best of 3s coming up after this match. It's going to be Rattlesnake versus Vici Gaming. I'm excited for that one. Vici Gaming is kind of my personal favorite team just because CTY is such an exciting player to watch.
Well, on your compendium, it said otherwise.
I had Mineskian Dreams, Pinoy Pride, Ubosian, but they did go home in the end.
Unfortunately.
Gods was mentioning to us that actually Mineski's been beating some good teams in Scrim, so I feel like their team, if they can stick together, maybe we see them come back next year and squeak in through a qualifier.
Yeah, I mean, I know I'm known for that Pinot Flame, but I definitely respect their team. Unfortunately, they just wasn't able to make it to the group. And
we'll have a quick remake, guys, by the way, so sorry for the delay. Should be getting started soon.
Is it surprising to anybody here that 4 Chinese team made through? Again, I'm a little bit sad that Myth Trust didn't, but I think a lot of us expected 4 Chinese team to make it through.
Well, I think we all predicted Chinese domination. My predictions were not very good for the G1 League. I think I failed every single one, but, well, we got this one right, and I guess it was pretty easy to predict that. After the way that Myth Trust and First Departure played on day 1, I actually thought they had a chance to squeak through, but push came to shove, they just couldn't get the job done.
Yeah, that's why best of 3 series are a little bit... I personally enjoy them more.
Yeah, G1 League, they were operating with time constraints. So I actually like the fact they did best of 1s because it gave us every possible matchup. You bring in these 6 teams from, in some cases, around the world. You want to get all those matchups.
Sure.
Downside, of course, is only best of 1s, but for me, it was worth it.
Yep, definitely so. But looks like we're going to get our loan. We do apologize for the delays and whatnot.
Yeah.
That never happens here.
No, we don't have
or
delays.
Anywhere.
We're immune. We're allergic to those. This was all part of the plan, guys. We just wrote the wrong time, so you'd show up early because we like seeing your pretty faces, or you've seen ours anyway. Speaking of which, I mean, we're clearly the more attractive pair, so...
That's for sure.
Yeah. 2 Davids, better than 1. No stash.
I see facial hair on you, okay?
Yeah, I think it will take me like 15 years to grow a similar stash to...
You're working on it.
I'm working on it right now, yeah.
The problem is, while you're working on it, you just have that, like, 13-year-old boy who doesn't want to shave because he's proud he has a mustache look, and
I've like that
ain't a good look, guys.
Pedo slash. But
we'll have another load here, Lumi. Hopefully the game gets underway. Got any jokes for us?
no, you gotta turn it to. I haven't heard Purge crack a joke yet on camera.
Yeah, we brought him here for his deadpan humor. Purge, take it away.
Let's go.
What? I made a joke not 2 minutes ago. Didn't you guys see when I was going
He's
through
not
the
taking
cards?
it away.
What?
What was your joke? Confusing us?
What? You just want me to like? You're just gonna like shift the camera to me and be like, "Tell us a joke. It's gonna be really funny, guys."
There you go.
That's what we did to
the lamest-
Merlini.
right
He
now.
delivered.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Get away from me.
Ben Wu
Put me on
had
the
it.
spot. Bunch of bullshit.
Ben Wu had them prepared.
We'll try load number 2. It looks like it may be a swing and a miss, but we'll see.
Are we operating on the Perfect World server for the rest of the day? Cause it's all Chinese games.
Yeah, all Chinese games the rest of the way. You should be very proud of your countrymen.
Well, I'm not proud of the Perfect World server because it's never actually perfect.
I don't think it's actually the server's fault.
All right. Looks like we're all good.
Well, we're in. Guys, game 1 underway. Here we go. LGD China versus Rising Stars. This one a best of 3. Winner of this match goes to your winner bracket finals. By the time today is done, we'll have one team that is going to Seattle, guaranteed a top 2 finish. First place team is in the big dance. The second place team, they go to your wildcard match. We won't find out who that second place team is until tomorrow. I'm LD. He's Lumi. Lumi, very quick bans here from Rising Stars. They've had some time to prepare.
Yeah, we talked about being able to prepare for LGD, and look at that Kunkka being first ban. I've not seen this first ban for 3-4 years now. It used to be a first ban material, but Shadow Demon, the other hero. Now the big question for us is whether LGD Gaming respect that Wisp enough to ban it out on the first stage. I'm not sure whether Rising Star will actually pick up on the first stage. Traditionally, they pick up second and third.
No respect. And I feel it would be a bit of a trap for Rising Stars not to take the Wisp, but to take it as a first pick. Because LGD, I mean, we've heard AOI say Wisp is a hero that there's really no counter for, and you give it away, you're asking for trouble. I agree if a team's perfect with the Wisp and really knows how to use it. Rising Stars, I haven't been convinced that their Wisp is quite at that level.
Yeah, maybe, well, who knows what they've been doing these last 3 days.
True.
Maybe they've just been solo queuing Wisp all day, but
Eating their spinach, eating their Wheaties.
there you go.
Getting ready for the biggest Dota match of their lives.
I like Darkseer as an opening pickup here because he's a very safe laner. He loses generally to only Lone Druid, and that Lone Druid needs to play very well. By picking up Darkseer early, though, you also take away a hero that LG loves to play. They love to use their Darkseer Spectre combo quite a bit early on, and when you take away the Darkseer, you basically eliminate that Spectre choice as well. So
There's a lot of options for this LGD team. We're now looking at probably a Sylar Lone Druid as well as a Yao Mag. If they want to grab both of those, they can. There's also the Nyx Assassin for Shao 8. They'll go for that instead. So if Rising Stars want the Mag, they can have it. But that's 2 AoE initiators that need a lot of farm, a lot of levels to have a big impact.
Yep. Great counter pick here from LG Gaming. Nyx Assassin just kind of shreds Darkseer apart simply because his mana pool is very intensive during team fights, especially when he's using mech and pipe and whatnot. Of course, I talked about Lone Druid, how it could actually match up favorably against the Darkseer. It depends on how the creep skipping goes, it depends on how pulling goes, but there is that Wisp early from Rising Star and a Dragonite. So we're setting up some kind of big kind of AoE team fight and a lot of early game ganking as well. Now, for LG Gaming, Lone Druid is a hard hero to gank, simply because he has the ultimate form. Nyx Assassin is annoying to gank as well because of Vendetta. So I don't feel that LG Gaming is in big trouble yet, even against the Wisp. And like you said, it comes down to how well Rising Star plays that Wisp.
Well, so we'll take a look at our lanes here. Dragonite, we see him go mid pretty much every game.
Right.
For LGD, generally it's a solo mid Nyx for Shao 8. It could be a safe lane or support Nyx, but generally it's been solo mid. So we'll assume it's going to be there. Dragonite versus Nyx, pretty even lane. Both heroes are going to battle Crow, just try and get their level 6 as quickly as possible. Good news is, if Nyx leaves the lane, that's where Dragonite can push the tower. And like you said, he's not that easy of a gank. So I think given the lane so far, those look okay. Then you look at Lone Druid versus Darkseer. Matchup where Darkseer should do pretty well, especially if he's creep skipping. Sylar should get a lot of farm. We've seen what happens when you try to dive Sylar early at the tower. That I wouldn't recommend for Rising Stars, but just in terms of having an offlane Darkseer who can get levels and farm, if it's that 1v1, I think they'll be okay.
I mean, there's a possibility that Nyx Assassin doesn't go mid. We talked
That's
about
true.
how the
Could be a
matchup...
support.
Yeah, there's going to be some offensive trialing seemingly coming out from LGD. We saw Visage do a ton of work.
Yeah, 18. I believe he's 18-3 right now. If you combine G1 League as well as the Eastern qualifiers, 18-3.
Yeah.
Now stats only mean so much, but come on, that's a ridiculous win rate.
18-3?
18-3.
I saw on DotaAcademy.com, shout out to Bruno's website, that it was 80%, but 18-3 sounds even better than that.
These are specifically for those 2 tournaments.
Okay.
I think Bruno's site, I'm not even sure if it has them listed.
I think it's
so.
like last week or something. But
Okay.
in any case, it's a very, very powerful hero. Combines very nicely with Nyx Assassin. And against Wisp, you generally want to pull him out of team fight as soon as possible by killing him, and Soul Assumption is probably the best nuke while doing so. LG though, they need to pick up some more kind of long range spells. We saw them use a lot of Jakiro as well as Earthshaker during the G1 LAN final, so let's see if they're going to be going back for that.
And I think this is they're a great band.
The research is right here, Rising Star.
You'll see it. It's the sniper tri-lane. That's what you get. You run the Visage, Earthshaker, Twin-Headed Dragon, you throw down a Fissure, you follow up with Ice Path, Soul Assumption's there, and Wisp, if she doesn't die to that, well, she goes and she pops all her regen.
Meanwhile, they're banning themselves quite kind of harder to kill semi-carry, so it's actually a very high possibility they want to go for kind of nuke-heavy trialings. Weaver very good against that type of lineup because of time-lapse, as well as all you really need is to pick up a Cloak or a Vid Booster, and you're fine. But they will take that one out themselves.
Yeah, let's see what LGD do the rest of the way. They could go aggressive trialing like you mentioned. Generally, I've seen the Nyx go mid, doesn't have to though. So aggressive trialing is an option, defensive trialing is an option. We'll see what that final pick is for them if they decide to tri-lane it with these three. If not, they'll need 2 more tri-lane heroes. We know Sylar will play the Lone Druid. He pretty much always goes safely, and they don't off-lane this hero. Once in a while, he'll go mid, and they could send it mid versus Dragon Knight, but I feel you can get away with something like a Nyx there.
Yeah, I almost feel like LG Gaming is actually forced to go offensive tri-lane. I think, yeah, you can put the Lone Druid on the top, or on the Suicide lane, and he definitely can handle lane.
They just don't do that, though. I don't think I've ever seen them off-lane.
They don't do that, and doing that against Wisp means you forfeit his level 6. Like, you give him a level 6 for free.
You get relocate, no problem.
Yeah, and I don't think you win that game. And of course, Sylar is a player that does so well with farm, so you just want to give him that protect the lane. So it's very clear that LG will be going offensive, and Rising Star could draft around it.
So we'll see a CK ban for LGD, and Wisp is actually a pretty decent combo with Weaver. Or Weaver's a decent combo here with Wisp. It's a little bit gimmicky, a little bit squishy, a little bit dangerous against LGD's heroes, but it's something that Rising Stars has run in the past. Shao2G's even played it on occasion. They even run the solo mid Weaver from time to time. In this lineup, I don't think they would, but I still think it's worth the ban. It does leave some heroes left in the pool. You've got your Tiny, who's not really the strongest laning hero, but someone who's combo with Wisp. Juggernaut's an option as well. LGD,
not anymore.
Well, he gets banned now, and I mean, Rising Stars, they could have picked this up. He does decently with Wisp. We saw Scon's Elite used to do that a lot, way back like 4 or 5 months ago, but they'll just ban it out, and obviously Healing Ward plus Lone Druid and the Visage Bird's very hard to push, or to deal with that push, so I think it's a smart ban.
Yeah, Sven is in the pool as a Wisp combo as well. And if you want to go really gimmicky, Riki is a possibility as well.
I actually like the Riki a lot here.
Yeah, I mean, Silence is a pretty big deal. Really good against Nyx Assassin. The Purge is a nice pickup. But I just want to say that you don't really need a quote-unquote Wisp combo hero to have a big Wisp performance. Just having the ability to relocate and give your carry, like Dragon Knight, for example, a lot of attack speed, that's really already good enough.
Yeah, I mean, the other issue with the Riki is it weakens your lanes. And LGD already have the potential for an absolutely dominant tri-lane. There's still a Twin-Headed Dragon in the pool. I imagine they'll look towards that. And then you've got a decent setup with Ice Path. There's a Rubik as well. Maybe that's something they would go for. And I mean, not the best Rubik game, but there's still some decent spells to steal, and he gives you a great setup in the trend. Rising Stars, they'll go Enchantress here, and we may see them try to do what the Alliance did. I believe it was to LGD, or maybe it was versus IG. One of those teams that was running a safe lane Lone Druid, or even Orange, I can't remember, but they aggressive jungle the Enchantress, and they just punish the fact that Lone Druid is solo. They also punish LGD if LGD try to run an aggressive tri-lane. As good as Sylar is, I mean, if you execute the gank perfectly, you probably should be able to kill him.
Yeah, they did Nature's Prophet and Chen against Orange Esport, and
against
they got
Orange,
yeah, they were forcing Mushi out lane multiple times. And against LG in the grand finals, I believe they did Enchantress, and I'm not sure what Admiral's offlane hero was. Maybe it was.
I think he got Lone Druid both games. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, let's see if Rising Star could actually deal with this. And we saw what Sylar did against, I believe it was Team Liquid.
Yeah.
When Bobo was trying to gank in with the Surge Arcs there, he was just juking the hell out of everybody there. So it comes down to the player and how Sylar will react, but
it's in some ways a bold pick, because Rising Stars, I'm sure they've watched the tape of that game. If you're Rising Stars and you didn't watch those games, you're crazy.
If you live in Asia, you've seen that tape of that game.
Exactly. And they still basically say, we can be aggressive, we can punish something, and probably you think it's going to be the Lone Druid. They'll go for the Beastmaster here. One of Xiao8's signature heroes could be a support Nyx and Beastmaster in the solo mid position. That's kind of how it feels right now.
I personally don't want, I'm not sure, like LG, I've seen them do this before where you run the Beastmaster on the off lane, and then you do like a solo mid Nyx Assassin, for example.
And then a defensive tri-lane.
Like you do a defensive tri-lane with Visage, and we're going to see a Phantom Assassin, so maybe taking a page out of Alliance, who runs PA beautifully. I talked about the interaction between Stifling Dagger and Enchantress creeps, and we're going to see a ton of that. I'm not sure if you want to pick PA into Beastmaster as well as Visage. Grave Chill is actually a great way to take away your attack speed, and that's a big deal against against PA. I'm not sure what I'd like to pick up here, to be honest.
Well, we'll see. It gives you a survivable hero against that tri-lane of LGD, and it means if Wish can stay really far back and PA can blink away. So if played correctly, I think it'll help keep potentially their dual lane safe. You can put a lot of pressure on Lone Druid with the Enchantress. +1 LGD, they'll go back to a hero that served them well so far. The Sylar Spectre, which now looks like a defensive tri-lane, an offlane Beastmaster, or maybe actually an offlane Lone Druid, because Yao's the one playing it, not Sylar. I think this is a first for me. I've always seen Sylar on the Lone Druid.
Yeah, well, I guess this is the first time I've seen Spectre and Lone Druid being picked on the same team as well. I feel like LG is actually picking a very greedy lineup, especially when you saw the Enchantress 4th pick. I'm just completely surprised. They're like, oh yeah, we could go late. Now the thing is, Sylar Spectre is a very kind of, what's the word? It seems late, but he plays it very aggressive early. He's going to hunt every chance he gets, and he's going to get a ton of kills. Yeah,
he gets involved pretty early. We'll go ahead and introduce the LGD China boys. They are, of course, your heavy favorites, your second-place team from the G1 League Season 5, and they are going to be the top dogs heading into this match. Sylar on the Spectre did a lot of work with that in the G1 League. Didi on the support Nyx Assassin towards the mid lane. Xiao taking the Beastmaster there. We'll have Yao as the off-lane Lone Druid. For the time being, DDC looking to help him with some wards, but I imagine we'll go into the defensive tri-lane. We'll see, though. And Lumi, then we've got Rising Stars, your upstarts.
Well, they're going to be Xiao Tuji playing the Phantom Assassin on the bot lane. Mofi will be handling the Wisp. I thought Super was generally the Wisp player here, but Super is going to be playing the Jungle Enchantress. We have Air playing the solo mid Dragonite, and last but not least, XDD is going to be handling the Darkseer. One interaction here for Enchantress is that you could actually, during the mid-game, very easily steal yourself a Boar or a Hawk during teamfights. And that's pretty much a big deal, especially against Spectre, as well as some of the melee heroes like the Bear.
The other nice thing is they're there in the fight.
Yeah.
Which they're normally not. I mean, you can't go back into the jungle, look for a creep when the fight's already raging. So that's the other nice thing about it. Hawk could come into play for Roshan. LGD, they've got a very good Roshan lineup. I mean, you look at, they have Inner Beast, they have the Lone Druid Bear, they'll have the two familiars later on. They can do Roshan fairly quickly if they get the positioning for it.
I'm actually questioning whether LGD Nyx Assassin should have taken Mana Burn at 1 instead of Impale. Impale gives them a little bit of extra killing power, but your secondary nukes are your slow from the Spectre as well as from your Visage. A single Surge really will get away from that tri-lane, so I'm not really sure they can even kill a Darkseer, even if Darkseer plays very aggressive.
He'll actually start in the jungle, though. XDD, he's going to back off. He's not going to put any pressure on the lane. That's going to give our Nyx probably a fairly early level 2. It looks like he'll be looking to stack that big camp and then farm the small one. We'll see exactly what he does. For Super, defensive jungle. With that final pick, they saw LGD were going to defensive tri-lane. They said, great, we're going to trade now. We're going to get our Wisp a quick level 6, and we're absolutely fine with giving away some early free farm to Spectre. Darkseer can put the pressure on a bit later.
But if you look at Yao, he's actually did a very good pull on the bot lane. Very good job by Yao realizing that a Wisp as well as Enchantress can't really stop that pull. So whenever he wants to do that pull and get himself free XP and free farm in front of his tower, he could do it.
And Mofi was body blocking that the creep wave as hard as he could, but it's very easy for Yao. He just keeps the bear a bit closer while Wisp is busy body blocking. She's not auto-attacking the bear. It's going to come in now, look for a secondary pull. I think it'll get to the wave just in time. This is a lot for the off lane. Sure, Darkseer is getting a decent amount on his own, but the difference is we're forcing Xiao Tuji to last under the tower. Still CSing well for the time being, but he'll burn through that regen quicker, and you have the potential to miss some last hits.
Yeah, it looks like Arrow's actually winning this last mid. If you see Enchantress actually dominated Harpy Storm, and she is going to be nuking the hell out of Xiao. Very spammable nuke at 50 mana and does a ton of damage. And it'll help push the creep wave a little bit as well. If that's what the Dragonite wants, you can secure himself the mid runes very easily.
Yeah, early courier upgrade here from LGD. They're not going to let this sneaky little Harpy come in and snipe it. And, well, Lumi, overall, we look at about a 250 gold lead, 250 experience lead for Rising Star. So minimal lead, nothing too significant. You can chalk that up just to the jungle Darkseer, who is now going to head top, but it's already 12-3 on our Spectre. Sylar's got boots. You can run away from the Ion Shell creeps easier. And I feel I don't know if I call it a mistake from the Darkseer, but now there's the potential to actually kill him, because they have Impale, they have Mana Burn. Maybe not at level 2, but you hit level 3 or 4 for this tri-lane. They can blow up Darkseer from full HP, basically to nothing.
Yeah, it's a very awkward initiation from LGD. Generally, you want to initiate with your stun, but in this particular way...
Now it's easy.
Yeah,
no mana.
You need to actually initiate after he surge himself. You got to Impale. Unfortunately, looks like DDC was slightly out of position, and they don't get the kill.
Well, he actually impaled at the right time. Problem is, it's only level 1 impale. Isn't actually going to do too much.
A little bit unfortunate. Spectre was not even in a position to drop that dagger. I think if you drop a dagger and a Grave Chill after impale, you could chase and make that dive. But yeah, looks like Enchantress is going to be farming a ton in the jungle. Sorry for cutting you off.
No, it's fine. I'm looking at the trades right now, and I think they're decent for both teams. I mean, it looks even in terms of goal experience, but you do head towards the mid game, and Rising Stars, they have a good lineup to spread the map, and that's where you can find some Spectre or some pickoffs. At the same time, if you're Wisp relocating and Spectre's got Haunt ready, he can easily counter gank and punish that. So it's going to be interesting to see how these mid game engagements develop.
Yeah, I'm really glad you brought it up. Generally, when you say, "Oh, our Spectre's going to counter gank," you double take and be like, "What?"
Yeah.
But that's exactly what you can do against the Wisps. I talk about how squishy he is. Now, the one big problem about this is that the Chinese generally don't like to max Tesla it by 7. In fact, if you see that he's leveling up the dagger, it actually is a very low damage output. And
yeah, more of a defensive build that we're seeing, which I think is okay. I mean, I feel like they do have room to get aggressive, but if they want to sit back and farm, I think that's fine for them. Rising Star, sure, they've got this Wisp Phantom Assassin, but problem is they've got heroes like Enchantress, Darkseer, which can be high impact in fights, aren't guaranteed to be. So LGD, I look at their lineup and I say, unless there's a big wall, they should have the 5-man advantage, especially in the mid game.
yeah, I'm looking at the off-lane experience count. We see Darkseer still level 2, the tri-lane doing a very good job zoning out. And because of the repeated pull here, we see the Bear at level 3 on the bot lane. But here comes a pretty decent push. He's got to be very careful. You can't easily defend this because a Stifling Dagger, and it looks like they're going to go right on the Bear. Will the Bear actually die?
Oh, there's already phase boots up a blink. Nice. That's a big kill.
And, I mean, he could summon a second Bear, which he will, but again, you could dive right now very easily. The dive, when you have Xiao2G's Phase Boot as well as Stifling Dagger, it's very, in fact, he's going to be trying to zone out. He's going to go for the dive. The Wisp is going to tether in. The ball is going to be on Yao's face. They grab the first blood, and that goes back to whether it's actually a good resummon.
Now they're going to go on DD. He gets caught by the tether stun. Could this be 2 that bite the dust? It's a long way to dive. I don't think they should dive the base, and they will back off. We're going to see a rotation from Xiao 8. Only level 5, already forced off the middle lane. Tower's in jeopardy. They're not getting a tower trade. This is a great start for Rising Stars. Mofi, he's in trouble to these axes. They do extra damage because he's got very low armor. Only 2. He will get away. Super slow shut down Xiao 8.
They're going to dive him right now. They're going to Stifling Dagger, Blink Strike, Tether's going to stun, and the ball's going to slow down Xiao 8. Xiao 8 is going to go down the... My god, you cannot underestimate the killing power of this lane. Tier 1 tower is going to go down, and this just goes back to the fact that we talked about this during the pregame. Sure, LG is a clear favorite, but this happens, and suddenly, who do you want to vote for this?
And something else we talked about is if you rotate off of the Dragon Knight mid and he hits 6, he really starts putting the pressure on the tower. So that was an absolute disaster for LGD. We now see them down 3,500 gold nearly, over 2,000 experience, and it's because not only did they give up that first blood, that's one thing, but they teleport the Nixon, he dies. LGD just underestimating the power of Wisp. We saw the same problem for them earlier in the tournament, or for other Chinese teams, I should say, earlier in the tournament, where Liquid just steamrolled IG. Great play from Liquid, but also just IG not respecting the power of Wisp. We see it again here, Lumi. That's 2 towers on the bottom lane, 6 minutes in. Mofi's level 5. Arcane Boots already complete. This is a huge start for Rising Stars.
Yeah, to me, they're underestimating the power of Phantom Assassin as well. As a carry, he just jumps on you very early in the game with Phase, and you're like, what is actually going on? The carry is just killing us. And if Xiao Jiji goes for a drum right now, he could just basically shred everybody apart. I like a medallion early as well.
Top lane, XDD could be in trouble here. He's got a surge. He'll use it now, but the Mana Burn from DD is going to discourage him from living. Can he get out? There's going to be a Grave Chill and now an Impale. That should spell his doom. They want to give it to Sylar. He's going to salve up a secondary auto attack coming in from long range. XDD, he'll surge away. He's actually going to escape the Impale there. I didn't even get the animation, but apparently it did miss. Xiao 8, he'll come in and clean up the kill with the axes, but they have to rotate another hero off the lane. Mofi, he'll start pushing mid with Xiao2G, who, oh, by the way, already has drums and phase, and with these items, PA is an early game hero.
Yeah, she really is. In fact, I feel like she's a very great early game semi-carry as well.
Look at her gold. She's 1,600 gold ahead of Sylar. Their creep scores are dead even, basically.
Well, they fed First Blood and double kill as well as 2 tower on the bot lane, now another tower mid, so I'm surprised that Sylar is only down by 600 gold. And this is where Spectre isn't really going to do for you. I mean, sure, you could haunt for a kill, but look at how Rising Star is going to be playing. They know you're going to be haunting for KS. They're going to stick us 5 and push your towers.
I love this movement. Sure, you're giving a Lone Druid some space and some farm, but your Wisp hits 6 off of this. You can go and gank him and kill him off fairly easily. They're going to go in now with air. He surged in. Dragon Tail, Iron Shield to start. Sylar taking a lot of damage. Is he going to go down? It looks like there's no way out. The Courier comes in, takes 1 auto attack from the Dragon Knight, and here's where Wisp will hit 6 if they get a couple more kills. They can pressure the tower. For LGD, normally a team that doesn't even give up towers, but if they do, we'll try and find trades. No trades in sight.
Yeah, so far they gave up 3 towers, and they got a ward very defensively because of that Wisp hitting level 6, like you said.
Well, not yet, but it's coming soon.
Yeah, well, he just have to duck in jungle for a camp, and that's it. Now there's your 4th tower, and when you have heroes like Sylar, Spectre, and Lone Druid being handled by Yao, what do? You don't have any early game. So you actually can't defend any of these towers. If Rising Star wants, they could take the last remaining tier 2s and then just go straight to Roche, and there's nothing LG can do about it.
It's where, for LGD, they didn't want to give up that kill. Sure, you die, you give up the first blood, but giving up the secondary kill on the Nyx, that's a big problem. They're going now with DD. He gets stunned up. He's dropping fast. He'll blow up. Rising Stars off to a hot start here. Now Aurora and Mofi, rotation from Xiao 8. They'll bring down the Wisp. There is no relocate. There is no buyback, but in comes Xiao Tuji. He's going to jump on Xiao 8. These small micro engagements, that's where PA can be king or queen, as it were, is a lady after all. They'll jump in on DDC. No, just a dagger to slow him down, and they forced the entire LGD team to rotate. If LGD aren't farming, they're in big trouble. They don't have familiars yet on at DDC. They have level 6 on Beastmaster, but that's it. Nowhere near your big items. DD, only level 5 on Nyx. So Rising Star, sure, they're 5-manning, but LGD isn't getting anything more out of these trades. They're just falling further and further behind. And Lumi, there's 4 towers down. You're up against Wisp. That's where things get really scary for LGD.
Yeah, it's tough, but to me, that was a fairly good trade for LGD. They traded for Beastmaster for Wisp, and generally you say, what? That's a horrible trade, but they killed him first so he doesn't turn level 6, and also showed off the really heavy nuking power from LG. They could roar and just soul assumption of Wisp, and he just dies, and they will be doing this for the remainder of the game. The big problem is, if you roar the Wisp, what do you do against the PA? What do you do against a Surge Darkster that could vacuum your whole team? What do you do against the Dragonite? So they're still outgunned very heavily, but you can see that by killing the Wisp, they took away the 5-man from Rising Star, and they could have at least themselves a minute or so of free farm, and they need this minute of free farm. They have to last up basically every single creep to have a chance to make this comeback.
They're going to camp mid with 3 heroes, hoping that Air will push a bit too far, but he'll back off after that wave. He'll head into the jungle. We look at our early item pickups, and, I mean, things look good so far. Mofi is well on his way to a mechanism, and if you get that early and you don't blow up the Wisp, suddenly PA basically has 2 lives with the amount of heal she'll be getting. A smoke from LGD. They were waiting for a long time. They'll go now. They may find XDD, but this, I don't know if this is the biggest hero.
The roar could actually bring him down.
They have the roar. He surged. He's going to get caught out. Impale should follow up. Spectre Haunt even used as well. They kill off the Darkseer. A bit late in the death notification there, but I mean, they used everything. They're not killing the Wisp, and Wisp is the one building the mech, so obviously it's a nice kill. It's good for LGD, but I don't feel it's completely game-changing.
Look at mid lane here. Yao is actually smoked up, and he's using the bear to farm. That is actually one of the cutest
They think
ones.
there's relocate.
I mean, sure, that's... No, well,
Which
actually,
now there is.
Yeah, that was actually a very awkward play from Rising Star. Rising Star saw that smoke with this Observer Ward over here, but they still got caught by it, so...
Well, actually, I think they smoked a little bit farther forward.
No, they actually pinged. They pinged
Okay.
for sure. They saw it on the minimap, but he thought it was safe. Unfortunately, he got picked off. And again, that's more time bought by LG.
And there's your Vlads now at Xiao Tuji. You're up against the Spectre. You're up against the Lone Druid. There's some damage that this won't affect, like the pure damage of Desolate, but still a lot of physical damage. Even Visage and his birds hit pretty hard. Inner Beasts on the field. Early Vlads, I think it's a decent choice.
It's a great choice. Yeah, it allows them to farm in the offensive jungle. Now that they have complete map control, you can kind of eke more advantage out of that. It helps your push by a ton. So
And you can go Roche if you win a big fight.
Yeah, that's another added benefit. Looks like they're going to force this tier 2. This is what I wanted to see from Rising Star. Instead of just spreading out and farm more, and gave LG another gank, especially when you know the ultimates are still somewhat cooldown from LGD.
There's no Visage familiars. That makes a huge difference. It's so much damage output if they can get off. Air, he can chip away. I'm not sure why the Iron Shell is just on his tail, but he'll have to turn around to burn enemy heroes to bits. In the meantime, just getting off one auto tech every few seconds. That way he gets the damage over time. Ticking away on the tower. There is war for Xiao 8. A decent counter push lineup from LGD. Not a whole lot of spam. Their lineup was really built around just not losing too many heroes early, and they're falling pretty far behind. We'll see Air continue to chip away. This is the beauty of the Dragonite. He's very tanky. If you go on him, Wisp can always tether to him, relocate back to base, and come back in. And in the meantime, he's doing a lot of damage to the tower.
Also a very costly haunt earlier used by Sylar. If he didn't use that haunt, he could just be jungling right now and then hop back into the fight whenever his team needs him.
Now he can, but the fight might be about to break out. Even the bear's taking some poison damage. We'll see a dagger. It's not going to connect on Air. He's the one in the front lines. The tower's dropping lower. They're going to get the deny up. There's your glyph. This is the time where LGD want to take a fight. They'll Grave Chill XDD, but in the end won't find him. And I think one more round of Rising Stars, they should get this tower.
No, they just get a deny. Yeah, nice play by LGD. I'm not sure. Darkseer surged himself in, and then he suddenly backed off, maybe realizing that Roar is back on.
Cold feet.
Cold feet, yeah. I was like, wait, there's no A in this game. You just can do 3 for a bit.
Well, there was no mech. I think that's the big issue there. We'll see the Buckler now. Mech isn't online. I mean, ideally you wanted the Wisp to get that tower. Not easy to last hit one with the entire enemy team there. But if Mophie can get the Mech, I think that's where Rising Stars, they'll really want to force fights. But for the time being, they're not quite at that. LGD, they're a bit underfarmed, underleveled, but they have the kind of lineup that doesn't need a whole lot of items to have a big impact. We'll see a smoke from DD. He'll lead the way under cover of Vendetta, hunting for Xiao Tuji as well as Mophie. Has this been spotted out? It looks like it has. He did use Vendetta while under smoke. I'm not sure if Rising Stars actually saw the animation there, but, well, he'll back off.
Yeah, maybe they heard the sound. That's one thing I really hate about Dodo 2. Like, you could hear Ursa.
I mean, you shouldn't see him because it just cast a spell. The smoke shouldn't be dispelled, but it seemed like they reacted instantly.
Yeah, sometimes you just hear random game sounds. I'm not sure if you
That's
played
true.
against the Ursa and you just like, "Rrr," and then you're just like, oh, he's ring Roche. Okay.
That's your best Ursa impression?
Yeah, it's late here. But yeah, I'm actually very surprised that Wisp is going to be going for the mech. Sure, Wisp having a mech is probably one of the best things you can have because
She is squishy, though.
yeah, she is very squishy, and that gives you some sort of effective HP. But they could have hacked the mech a long time ago if Darkseer was going for it. If you see Darkseer, he's got himself a
We're going to find Yao now. Air, he'll lead the way with the Dragon Tail. There's no tier 2 to teleport to, and instantly Yao gets blown up. That's the power of Wisp. That's the power of the critical strike of Xiao Tuji, and they're going to hunt for some additional kills. LGD, they'll hoof it back to the tier 2, and they should get back safely. Sylar, well, he's up to 1,700 gold, but he'll be forced to TP out here.
Yeah, that 1,700 gold is going to be going for things like drums and maybe even a blade mail. I don't think that's too bad, especially against a PA if she jumps on you.
I think it's better to go for something like you said, like drums and maybe Diffusal Blade here.
Or she might be forced to go to drums and Vid Booster. Like, she just needs anything to survive. But yeah, I felt like the tier 2 push on the mid lane could have been a lot easier if they had the mech on the Darkseer instead of a slower mech on the Wisp. But it seems like they're still okay. They have the mech finish. It should be delivered right now. And there's just no way that LG could take a fight now that mech's online because they don't have one themselves.
Well, maybe they take a fight if someone from Rising Stars gets caught out. But again, you always have to worry about Wisp tethering, healing someone up. Suddenly they're getting over, I think it's over 500 HP of additional heal with the bonus damage or bonus heal from Tether. Well, in the meantime, they'll siege on this tower. Catapult is here. Great time to push. Familiars are online. That's one thing going the way of LGD. Will it be enough? It's going to be tough. They've got the Zoo army, but there's some Enchantress Zoo creeps wandering around as well. And Familiars trying to scout things out, and it looks like for the time being, well, they'll wait for the mech, and here it comes.
Yeah, Beastmaster's working on the mech as well. I mean, it does heal for, I think, over 500 HP, like you said, on the Wisp, but you gotta keep in mind that Wisp has to be empty of HP, or at least down 250 HP for that to work.
You know, they're wasting a bit of time here. LGD's farming their own jungle. Rising Stars, if they get this, it will be the last outer tower, but that's where you really want your wards to come out, because so far, LGD, they're still farming. Sylar's mid lane, he's got Haunt. Normally, this is something you can punish with a relocate gank, but they're not even going to try for it. They're just going to push this tower top. There is no glyph, and in the end, it will go down. So 6 towers down, 15 minutes in. If there was ever a scenario for Rising Stars to take game 1, Lumi, this is it. No excuses for them. Up by 10k gold, 3,000 experience. You should win in this position.
I'm not sure what I'm going to be cheering for, you know, upset here, even though I'm a bigger fan of LGD, as they're going to be trying to slow Siege's tower. They're going to focus on that bear.
Oh, caught out. There's the Impale. Catches out too. Now the Familiars come in. Air on the run. Should get away. They also have the Tether there, so Eric, you can do a little bit of extra damage with the increased attack speed to the tower. But for the time being, they're going to siege. And for LGD, well, is Sylar saving for buyback? He's got 2k gold. He could buy drums, but he's going to save what looks like he wants to have 2 lives here. Go in, die, haunt back, and come again.
Yeah.
Or buy back and haunt in again.
Also, a very interesting interaction here between the Familiar Birds as well as PA. Stifling Daggers will hit the birds, and because of a long cast range and spam ability, DDC's got to be very careful about his micro, or he's going to be giving away free 100 gold.
Well, for the time being, we won't see any daggers, and they're just going to look to siege this one. We'll have Air in the front lines, keep Mophie far back so he can mech if he needs to. He'll chip away at the tower, actually stuns the bear, then backs off. They're not getting a whole lot accomplished here, but neither is LGD, so as long as Rising Stars don't die, they come out even. They maybe even come out ahead. I would like to see a gem from this team. I would like to see some aggressive lane wards to really punish LGD, because Lumi, LGD supports, they are dirt poor, and one of the ways that you can really punish that is those aggressive wards.
Yeah, unfortunately, Rising Star has to back off. The Dragon form's out for a couple, like, full minutes or so, and then now they're going to be backing off. Seems like he's going to be going for Shadow Blade, which is not a poor item choice. I feel like Sylar could be farming a lot more aggressively. There's quite an interesting interaction between Sylar's Spectre as well as the Haunt, because or as well as a relocate. As soon as you hear that relocate come in, you could just haunt away from them and back to the team and start a team fight that. So it's kind of like backwards relocate, if that ever made any sense.
Haven't really thought that one through myself.
Yeah, so like, for example, there was a 5-man push up top. Sylar could be pushing mid. You hear that relocate, you hunt back up. It's a 5v3 team fight up in the top lane, so...
I was busy watching our producer Kawa here just devour his food, but LGD, for the time being, they're smoked up. They're going to try and do something bottom lane. Well, Lumi, this is pretty dangerous. Trying to dive that tier 1, you don't want to do that. Not when there's relocate on the field, not when the tier 1's still up. They'll go for a safer gank. They'll rotate into their jungle. The one thing Rising Stars hasn't done besides the aggressive wards that I would really like to see is get a Roche. Now, maybe they need a kill first. Maybe they need better map control first, but with this kind of a lead, that's the item you want to break the base.
Yeah, it's somewhat hard to actually get it against a Beastmaster, though, because...
As well as a Spectre with buyback and Hawk.
Right. Like, you just know that LG have so much map control despite being down. You talked about the possibility of Gem. It's a great item to have, and they will have one right now, Enchantress, but, I mean, they could easily just have Hawk and just kind of rely on that.
Well, we won't see the Hawk. We'll see a motley crew of creeps here. You have this damage aura from the Alpha Wolf. Will it live through the fight? We'll see. But for the time being, it's about to die. That could make the Phantom Assassin really scary. For Xiao now, I imagine you just go for your BKB. Shadowblade is picked up on our Dragon Knight, a powerful map control item. I would like to see, if they're not going to go for Roche, ideally the aggressive wards, but keep the lanes pushed out. You're the ones with the Wisp as well as the PA. You can be more aggressive pressuring, and if the enemy team tries to take a fight, you can relocate and punish that.
Yeah, I mean, they see Sylar farming on top lane solo, but they're not making a jump. And that just speaks to that...
It looks like he's going Relic here.
Yeah, he's going Relic / buyback. We still don't really know what it is, but if you think about it, Relic is... If you could survive the early game, it does a ton of AoE damage. Last time when we were casting Wa'awi, we saw the power of Radiance against PL. But in this game, I mean, it's going to do a ton here against a Wisp.
It just helps you farm. I mean, I feel like that's the main thing.
It's not bad against Enchantress and Wisps. They're generally low HP heroes, and if the team fight lasts long enough, hey... You know, you get some free kills at the end of the team fight.
XDD, he's going for a completed Vanguard. I don't know how you feel about this. I would prefer to see something like a pipe.
I hate Vanguard on
I mean, it was also a late Vanguard. He sat on the Vit booster for a while. He doesn't go for anything like a pipe. There's a lot of AoE on LGD. I'm not sure this is really the best item to break the base, but they'll smoke up. They'll head towards LGD. Yao's going to be caught out. He's farming from low ground to high ground. Shadowblade says, hello, sir, and most likely, goodbye, sir. He'll go down. If they want to go Roche now, great time to do it, or push the lanes in, threaten the base.
There is no buyback on the bear, so I think Roche is going to be the easy and safe choice. Oh, the Hawk runs into... No, he's going to be fine. The Hawk's okay. Yeah.
No Enchantress takeover there.
To be fair about the Darkseer, even though personally I really hate the Vanguard, it's actually pretty decent in this game because a lot of his play is going to be surging himself, running in, and eating that roar. You don't want to die during that roar, so having an extra bit of HP and damage block is very helpful. Yeah,
he'll be in the middle of the fight against a lot of heroes that are going to be hitting him, a lot of summons as well, the familiars, so could be pretty decent to make sure he gets it off. They do have the mech on the Wisp, so not a bad trade in the end. LGD, they'll try to contest this a little bit. Sylar has Haunt. Will he Haunt in for it? He won't. Would have been a bold play, and if he loses that fight and tries to Haunt and dies, then that's game, because they don't have anything to defend the base.
Well, did you have Relic on Sylar, so this is really going...
How much longer do Rising Stars have? I mean, PA goes very late. This hero absolutely does, but you go late enough and the BKB charges wear down, or she dies and isn't there in the fight, that's where Sylar gets a couple of kills. Game can just turn on its head. So even though Rising Stars is up by 12k gold, 5k experience, they haven't won this game yet, Lumi, and against such a staunch defensive team like LGD, this team has a lot of strengths, playing defense and not getting picked off, one of their biggest. We've only seen a few pickoffs this game. It's going to be hard to break that base.
Yeah, even though that you have heroes like a Stifling Dagger, Blink Strike, or a Shadowblade DK, and that's a lot of initiation power. Of course, there's a relocate. It's just hard to actually initiate against LGD because of the mech on the Beastmaster, as well as the Beastmaster Roar. So, Xiao A, as long as he doesn't stay out of position, as long as he doesn't get picked off first, it's going to be very hard to actually break the high ground of LGD. And when you go in Spectre Radiance, it seems like maybe that's why they're going for the Radiance. They realize that they have a ton of time despite being down so much.
It's
and just
such
go for the
late Radiance.
Yeah, it is, but it's the best late game choice, right, in terms of item protection.
If this game goes another 15-20 minutes, it's going to work out. But if Rising Stars go and try to break the base now, which I feel they pretty much could. They've got a mech, a hood up on the Darkseer, a gem on the Enchantress. They have an Aegis on their level 12 PA, who's not incredibly leveled, but BKB is coming soon as well. I mean, maybe that's the one item you want to wait for. Only 250 gold. I feel like Rising Stars should be going right at LGD's base right now and really forcing the fight.
I agree, but I mean...
And the Relic, not going to help your illusions one bit there.
But if you ask LGD, like, they know they're down by a ton. They know what they're up against, but despite of everything, they're still going Relic. So there must be some sort of confidence saying, hey, we could still hold the high ground, even though our Spectre has nothing, even though our Spectre have no buyback and Haunt. Like, they are confident that they hold, and it seems like Rising Star maybe thinking that, hey, we actually can't push. So...
Well, they want the BKB. They'll wait at least for that. You look at their other items coming out. There is 900 gold on XDD. If they want to go for a pipe, which it looks like he does, and they want to wait for it, not that far off. BKB picked up 22 minutes in. One of the fattest Phantom Assassins you'll ever see. Xiaotuji, make no mistake about it, he is very far ahead. Is it going to be enough? We'll have to wait at least another minute or two to find out.
Yeah, we're seeing 12,000 gold lead, a ton of experience lead, and of course all the net worth really in favor of Rising Star. But like you said, despite of everything, they're not making a push. I think they're going to be waiting out the Aegis, they being the Radiant team, and push very close to the Aegis running out. Or are they going to go right now as BKBs deliver on Xiaotuji?
There's only one item they're waiting for. It's the pipe. They have the recipe on XDD. I think they're waiting for that. You get the pipe, you get the mech, and you go. You have, I mean, you can wait, but that's going to fade. They have to have seen this relic by now. Sylar has shown himself to creeps multiple times. You know he's going Radiance. You know this is pretty much where he's lowest impact. Once he gets buyback, once he gets the Radiance complete, he gets exponentially stronger. So this is your go time. Are they actually going to wait for the pipe? Not picked up yet. They'll just go now.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things that you can do if you're making a siege right now, as they're slowly surging back in, getting up on the high ground, the bear tanking a ton here. Nice actually tank on Xiaotuji.
He gets
Impale as well. I mean, any chip damage you could do, force out early mech, and they will back off a little bit. You buy yourself a little bit of breathing room. Where's Sylar? Is Sylar farming that Radiance? He has that Radiance. So, I mean, we got over that very dangerous hump, and if you hold for one or more, two more pushes.
Yeah, but no buyback. He's gone Radiance, no buyback. I don't disagree with this, but if he dies, it could be big trouble. They vacuum him in. He gets stunned. He's dropping fast. Here's your BKB. Phantom Assassin Sylar will go down. No buyback, but on the back lines, LGD doing some work. They throw out the roar. Is Xiao 8 going to be able to live through it all? Xiaotuji goes in with the dagger. Body block from DD. Is it enough? It looks like it is, but off with his head. Xiao 8 will go down. Now onto DDC. 3 heroes dead. Has it been enough? I'm not sure. It looks like they may be forced back. A 2-hero impale could be trouble for Rising Stars. They don't have that pipe. The magic damage splashing through. Now the pipe's delivered. Oh my goodness. It looks like LGD. They do defend, but good news for Rising Star. All of the core heroes aside from the Lone Druid.
I think that's a fine defense from LGD. It just shows you that they understand how close this game can be, but they will still hold. The big thing about that team fight is that they blew up the Wisp so quick that she wasn't able to get off the mech. If she got off the mech, that was a different team fight altogether. Your PA wasn't at 2 HP, so she could still stick in it and start fighting a long time.
They also don't have the pipe. That's the other big thing.
Yeah,
pipe is there. A lot of that damage is nuke damage, and that's where maybe Wisp lives long enough to use the mech. Completely different fight.
Right, so if Rising Star end up losing this game, which I still think they were heavily favored to win this, you just go back to Asher's decision. Hey, should we have actually waited for that pipe? But, you know, that's a question for 30
We'll save that for the post game if it comes to that. For the time being, LGD, well, they've gotten the lanes pushed out a bit. They're going to try and hang on here. Sylar, up to 550 gold. Radiance, you get this item to farm the next item. We'll see a Shadow Blade on air. He's going to lead the way. He will find Yao. He'll get in range. There is a Beastmaster Roar. Spectre no haunt, however. Beautiful bird micro. The familiar stopping air from giving chase. They'll vacuum Yao back regardless. Can they kill him off? In comes Xiaotuji. There's your BKB. Wall thrown down. Pretty ineffective wall, to say the least. They do get the Lone Druid kill. The familiar's gonna fall to imps. Actually didn't realize those worked on them.
Very, very good time to push right now. The mech is down for Xiao 8. I'm very surprised that he actually did not use a Beastmaster Roar. You stun the PA that's in BKB, but the pushback ability also will actually rescue the bear. I'm not too sure what he's saving it for.
There you go onto DDC. Are the familiar stuns available? They are not being used yet. Here comes Dragon Knight. Down goes DDC. Tether is there. The familiar stuns have been used. Sylar on the backside will pick off the Enchantress, but is that enough? That's the question. Rising Stars, they'll back off. They're a little bit worried about this engage. No, it's actually Xiaotuji jumping in. He wants another kill. He's still got that Aegis. Surged away. Now he blinks back. Familiar, number 1. Oh, number 2, not going to go down. Miss from the low ground. So Rising Stars still unable to crack this base. But Lumi, they're starting to find a lot of kills. Aegis about to go down. This is where if you're Rising Stars, you're getting a lot of gold. You're pulling further and further ahead. You back off, and you wait for Roche number 2.
I mean, I think LG's winning this.
Oh, come on.
I'm saying this. 1,400. Look, if I'm going to be wrong, that's fine. But
14,000.
14,000. I think they're okay. Like, as crazy as it might sound, I think they could hold long enough.
Problem is, there's no item progression. They have this Radiance on Sylar, up to 1,300 gold. That's nice, but that's it. It's only the Spectre has, and Spectre has to buy items. Can't save for buyback because they're not winning these fights with the current inventory levels on him. Xiao 8, just the mech, hasn't progressed from there at all. Not one bit. Visage, a hero that benefits a lot from farm, still just a bracer and earn. He's not progressing. And you look towards Yao's Lone Druid, he's gone even for a magic stick because, well, any items he can buy now are going to be helpful. Just an armlet Lone Druid. So they're hanging on. Perhaps they can take it late, but Rising Stars, they're still doing the right things. They're getting hero kills. They're not overextending. They've chipped away at the tower. They still have decent map control, and their items are progressing a lot.
I'm agreeing with everything you say, and by all metrics, LGD is so far behind, but there's this hero called Spectre, and she does magical things. There's a bash up on PA now, and with BKB and Basher, you could actually just focus on the Spectre and kill her quick. I believe that Spectre, as well as Xiao 8's play, is going to be the X factor. Xiao 8, as long as he doesn't get caught out, his war is so damn important. Again, not only locking down the PA, but also the pushback 50% slow on everybody. That's a huge deal for Sylar.
Here comes Rising Stars. It's actually going to be a Shadow Blade Air who leads the way. They vacuum in Sylar. He's dropping fast. Imps come through. Is he going to be able to live? That's the question. The familiar micro, not enough to keep him alive. He does a buyback. I think he'll use it now if they keep on going in. Xiao Tuji, well, he's used his BKB early. No BKB available. They'll have to be a bit more careful. Sylar, buyback is there. Not using it yet. They're trying to bait this fight. The buyback comes now. Roar on air. Rising Stars, have they overextended? They're going to lose the Dragon Knight. The Impale catches Mopi. He'll go down too. That's 2 heroes dead. Sylar out for blood, out for more kills. It's a headlong retreat from Rising Stars. Can they get away? Vendetta DD. He's got the magic stick charges. He does have enough for an Impale if he pops them, but can't get in range. Still chasing, still hunting.
Oh,
Super
dagger.
on the run. There's your dagger. Wisp. Nope. It does have a buyback. Not buying back. Doesn't feel it's going to help. He throws out the slow. Gets surged away. XDD. It might be enough to save his life. Now a pause in the middle of the fight. My goodness. XDD just got rooted. There's still a buyback on Wisp. Lumi, do you use the buyback here? Actually, I guess not, because PA's gone mid.
Yeah, PA doesn't have a teleport scroll, so she could not have go home. I guess you could buy back and relocate and save your Darkseer, but that's really risky. Not really exactly cost effective, because I don't think you really would save it. But in that last team fight, I'm telling you, the power of Spectre, you kill her once, buy back, she's basically ageless anytime she wants. That's kind of...
For Rising Stars, they should know. I mean, at that point, you've used your BKB on the PA, you play it safe, you wait for it to cool down, especially with Roche coming soon. But XDD, he's going to get caught out here, blown up by the Soul Assumption. Well, when it's all said and done, they lose 3 for just the cost of a Sylar buyback. That's a massive win for LGD.
And
but
they
I
didn't
feel
get
this is,
tier 3 tower either.
Yeah, I feel this is just the inexperience of Rising Stars showing. As soon as the BKB for the PA is down, that's your big combat item. Basher was on the way. Roshan's coming soon. Not a time when you want to be forcing a low percentage fight. And Spectre, probably the scariest hero in the game if he's got buyback.
I completely agree with you. I think if Rising Star was a little bit more patient, they could have long time sieged it and not make for that big dive. But also the wall was a little bit iffy here because they used it against Sylar, which was decent, and then until that buyback came, and the wall basically did nothing in that team fight. So a little bit of experience plays, and again, LGD's right back in this. Now the next siege is going to be really big for LGD, or for Rising Star, because there is no buyback for Spectre. In the next 5 minutes, you make a big push, and you get a kill on Spectre, you win the game. But here's the thing. Are they going to wait for ages? Like, yeah, we're ahead. We could wait for the Roshan. I don't think you needed Rosh. You just go mid and go win.
Well, let's see if they go for it. There's no item progression on Sylar. He bought back. He got a decent amount of assist gold there, but still under 10k net worth. For Rising Stars, well, they might wait for their BKB on air. That's the one other big item they don't have. But during that time, Spectre's getting more important items. You look at something like a Reaver, maybe even a Yasha, a Diffusal Blade, whatever he wants to go for
Ultimate
here.
Orb. All right.
Oh, picks up the Ultimate Orb.
Extra HP. That's fine. Completely okay.
So you get this. You can go now for a Manta style, and you get the HP first. So Yasha, big downside is that doesn't help you tank.
Yeah, well, it's actually decent in the sense once you have the Manta style.
It could even be an Eye of Skady. It's actually just a ridiculous item on any illusion-based tier because you get so many stats.
That's interesting. I think if he's going for Skadi, he's going to go point booster first.
True.
It's just a little bit more cost effective. So
it's probably Manta. That's the expected choice, but
right.
I guess there is that plan B.
Yeah, it's decent against Enchantress Enchant. It's okay against Stifling Daggers and whatnot, but it's not a game-winning item. And here comes the Roche attempt. And let's see what does LG do about this. Do they charge in and take a fight, or do they...
We'll see. The one thing that is worth noting that we didn't get to mention in that last engagement was Rising Stars not only lost 3, they also lost a gem. So that was an even bigger economic cost to them. They're still going to go Roche in spite of it. They haven't really done much to D-Ward. They're just confident if it comes to a big fight, they'll take it. And for LGD, well, like you said, with no buyback available on Sylar for another 2 minutes, probably not worth the risk. And, well, we're going to see the Aegis. This time it goes on Xiao Tuji. It did last time as well. How much longer do they want to wait? Air's BKB is coming soon. The Abyssal Blade for Xiao Tuji, assuming he goes for that, is coming soon. Is it worth farming more? That's the question right now. It's a tough call for Rising Stars.
It really is. I mean, you don't want to lose any tower when you're this ahead because any extra gold for LGD, you don't know who is, for example, short for buyback for 200 gold, and suddenly they have it if you drop that tier 1 up top. And the trade-off is that the enemy does have time to farm, but they're just so damn afraid of Wisp right now.
Yeah, that's the beauty of the Wisp pick.
Right.
That's what's keeping LGD in their base.
I talked about the interaction with Sylar being able to hunt out, but if you don't know where the rest of the team is, you hunt towards them and they'll still kill you. And also because PA could bash so easily now, she's like almost better than CK, I want to say. She could just blink, strike in, apply the tether stun, and throughout that 2 seconds, she's gonna get a bash, and you're gonna die to those crits. So, yeah.
I'm not really crazy about the way Rising Stars is playing this game, and it's something we've seen a lot from the Asian teams that go Wisp. Is you have a Phantom Assassin with a BKB. You can push one lane with him, even if they roar you. You're not going to die as long as you get the BKB off. If you're in trouble, Wisp can just send you back to base as well if you're not able to get the BKB off. So I feel like Rising Stars, they could be putting more overall pressure on the lanes, farming with the PA, the Wisp in one lane, you have the other 3 heroes in the other, and it would still be very hard for LGD to make a go. Instead, they're letting LGD get a little bit more than I would like out of these lanes. But in spite of that, we look at the gold graph, we look at the experience graph, and they're still going Rising Stars' way slightly. So still pulling ahead bit by bit.
I'm agreeing with you. I feel like PA is definitely the strongest hero. She goes in, she BKBs, and she is going to just tank through Blur, the armor, as well as Lifesteal. But I think they're respecting the power of LG's nuke, because your PA is not going to die. That's no questions asked. But your Wisp is going to die. And once Wisp's dead, I think they could actually converge on and maybe even kill PA, especially if the OP Vibrabore as well as the Entangles are coming out.
I mean, there's a lot of ways to deal with that. PA could just hide in the trees. We saw that's exactly what EGM did, just hide really far behind the PA. So, well, I think they could be a little bit greedier with how far they're pushed out the lanes, but they are keeping them fairly pushed in. They'll farm the Abyssal Blade now in Xiaotuji. That's going to be coming out soon. BKB for air, that's the other big item. It comes in about 150 gold. And I think, we said it before, but I think this is go time.
Yeah?
Once again.
I mean, I'm almost asking myself, what the hell are they waiting for? Like,
It's just those 2 items.
They got those 2 items, right? So
well, it's coming now. Xiaotuji up to 4,000 gold.
Abyssal. Okay, so I saw his goal earlier. I was like, oh, he has it, but
and the BKB on air, that's going to arrive as well.
I almost want to say if you're like Dragonite. No, he's got it.
AUI's going to be happy. It looks like we might be seeing a Rod of Atos here from Mofi.
it's actually really good against PA, especially when the thing is going back to.
Even here, like Spectre.
Oh, sorry. I thought Visage had it.
No, it's
No,
Mofi
yeah,
who's
it's Mofi,
now got the Vitality Booster. He'll pick up a Staff of Wizardry, so interesting little pickup from him.
I like it less on Wisp because who are you going to slow? Who is it going to be effective? Because once Manta Sal's up...
Well, it helps her tank, right? It's cost-effective HP.
It doesn't actually help you tank any more than a Vid Booster does.
That's true, but
so
hey, you get the Vid Booster.
I actually think that's a poor Adam choice.
Well,
I think he should got a sign.
I like it because we got a route of Aoi, and Aoi will be casting later. For the meantime, Rising Stars, they've got the BKB, the Abyssal as well. They'll start to work on this Rax mid. A blink and insta-bash. The bear drops so incredibly fast. This is a concern for LGD. The bear isn't very durable. The familiars are just free kills, even for Enchantress, who can chip away at them from long range. Rising Stars, I wanted to see them slow and safe siege. If I'm a fan of this team, there's no need to really force a fight.
Well, the Abyssal's up, everything's up, and they're going to be coming right in Sylar, by the way. Does he have buyback? Yes, he does. Buyback, goal, and timer ready to go. Eric and Monoburn gets Roar. He's going to get burst down, but the mech comes in with a heal. Xiaotuji BKB up, and he's going to work. Look at those RNGesus crits. Oh my god, they're blowing everybody up. Bear's going to get blown up as well. Look at this. And now the high ground is completely broken. No more Roar, no more mech. And it's all go time. But Xiaotuji, BKB runs out. He's low.
He's got Aegis. They can go again. And the beautiful thing is they didn't go on Sylar. Sylar, no haunt for him. So even if he buys back, not going to be that scary of a buyback. They'll work on the tower again. XDD, he surges in. He's looking for a vacuum. This could be the first lane of Rax for Rising Stars. If they can execute this push properly, they'll jump in now. Xiaowei dropping fast. 2 heroes vacuum back. He'll go down. Xiaotuji, he's going to die. But he's got Aegis. He comes back after these messages. Bottle from air, dropped and then denied. I'm not sure what's going on. But in the meantime, tower's going to fall. Xiaotuji, he'll back off. 1,700 gold. They've only gotten the tower.
He picked up the gem, that's why.
Oh, he's picked up the gem. That makes a lot more sense. Denies the bottle just to punish LGD even further. And now a slow and Xiaowei. No roar for him. No haunt for LGD. Hard to fight. Hard to run. There's your pipe again. A blink. And where's the crit? Where's the boom shakalaka? Doesn't find it. Doesn't need it. Buyback from Sylar, but no haunt. Not really that scary of a buyback. They'll try to go in with the bear here. There's no BKB. Actually, there is a BKB on Xiaotuji. He's got it again. Air. Well, he's entangled. He's rooted. He'll go down, but look for the BKB. He's down now, I think, the 5 seconds. He's actually going to run. Not sure if he'll get away. Gravechill and XDD. Is LGD actually defending? They might just be doing it. Stun. Catches 2. Xiaotuji's low. He needs a way out. Is there a relocate? Not used just yet. In fact, he's going to man up. Wisp, save me, my friend. No relocate from Mofi. He'll go down. Now being chased. He'll try to TP out. Buyback from Xiaotuji to no end. No backup there from the Wisp. The Wisp will fall. No relocate.
They got themselves a mid-racks, but I'm not sure whether mid-racks is really enough because they use Aegis, they use a buyback, which I guess was a mistake. Actually, it was a big mistake. He finds himself a double damage. I don't think he's going to hunt for any solo kills, or if he does, he's going to find anybody, but...
It was pretty clear that he thought Wisp would get away and then could relocate back in and find some kills, but wasn't the case.
I want to say, hey, Sylar uses buyback as well, but because he got so many kills in the team fight, look at his goal. He's got his Manta in like 100, and he's going to buy it because he got no buyback.
That was also a buyback without Haunt. I feel for Sylar, that was a bit of a blunder from him, not using Haunt that early, but... Well, it works, because obviously Spectre isn't that great when she buys back without it, but it worked out.
She just literally waltzed in and still got a couple kills, so it wasn't the most flashiest of buyback, but it still did its job. And was it a pyrrhic victory for Rising Star?
It's like, it's on the border, right? I mean, it was close. I think they still come out ahead there. They do get the first lane of racks. Remember, they've got the Wisp, so you have Wisp. Middle lane's always pushing in. Someone from LGD always has to go defend that. So easy to run a smoke gank down the mid lane, so easy to relocate anyone. If you see one hero farming, say, bottom lane, and then you see just one or two mid, you can try and go on them. So I still think Rising Stars come out ahead there, but like you said, it's just not an overwhelming victory. And, well, Yao's getting closer to an Assault Cuirass. He's got a Hyperstone, a Plate Mail as well. 40 minutes in, how much does it matter? Hard to say against the PA who's this farm, but every little bit helps.
Yeah, also, the way that the team fight started last time for Rising Star, that was an ideal start. The Dragon Knight got roared, and the mech came off from Wisp.
And the pipe as well.
Yeah, the big thing is LG need to kill the Wisp ASAP and hope that he doesn't have buyback, which he doesn't. And looks like he's going to be going for Force Staff. It's not going to be
just a casual Vit booster.
Rod of Aoi.
I mean, this is probably the smarter item overall, because LGD, they have a good chasing lineup. This also lets you push your PA even a bit farther into the fight.
When they get roared, that's a big deal. Like when they're facing the other way. But I'm sure Aoi would disagree with the Force Staff because that's what he does.
It's not a Rod of Atos, that's for sure. So. Well, we now head 38 minutes in. Level 16 up on air. Has his level 3 Elder Dragon form. Not going for the level 17 or 18 one that we've seen a few times in this tournament. That's where things get a bit scarier. Now Dragon Knight can start to be your secondary DPS. He's not going to do much to, say, the Spectre, the Lone Druid, but the other heroes can definitely chip away at them and also just keep them in range for Xiaotuji to finish them off.
So my question to you is, if you're in Rising Star's position, do you wait for the third Aegis?
I think at this point you do. You've gotten one lane of Rex. Mid lane's going to be pushing in. It's coming soon. The other thing is you don't want to lose a fight now and give away an Aegis and a cheese to LGD. That's where the game almost falls apart for you.
So if you do wait for the Aegis, there is going to be buyback on Sylar. You're dealing with a very coming soon on Yao's AC.
I mean, an Assault Cuirass coming soon.
You get 2 extra lives in a team fight, but you're also dealing with arguably an extra life and a 2 because the bear is going to be a lot more effective. So is it more just a wash if you wait?
Well, there's no buyback on that bear.
Sure. There's a resummon, so it's hard to say. I don't know. I'm not sure what to do here for Rising Star. I'm not sure what is the correct decision.
I think you just go for Roche. You take Roche. You can barrel down the bottom lane again. I think you just played a little bit more safely. You try and bait out the Haunt. You don't really commit to the fight. And you also use a relocate strategically. We didn't see a relocate to save anyone's life in that fight.
Have we even seen a relocate at all this game?
I don't think so. Maybe.
They just want him for the tether heal, man.
It's still good, but... I mean, I feel like this is where, again, you can have a few heroes pushing out one lane. You can have the Wisp relocate gank there, and you have that PA as one of the 2 heroes pushing out one side of the map. She's not going to die. You're probably not blowing up Dragon Knight from full HP before he gets off his BKB. Relocate, mech comes in, pipe is there because Darkseer will probably be in the 3 heroes that are pushing lane, and you could just turn the fight around. So, again, it doesn't feel like they know how to use the combo quite as efficiently as some of the Western teams, but I still feel like in the chaos of that big final push towards the bottom lane, you go for your second lane of racks. That's where the Wisp can save a hero, bring them back at full HP, or a hero can buy back and be brought back into the fight, and you can completely turn it around. And speaking of that, Xiaotuji, no buyback yet, but he'll have it soon.
What do you think Xiaotuji's next item choice will be? I mean, he's got basically everything he needs to win a game, but the game hasn't... Like, normally this is your end game set, right? You're done with the game by now.
I mean, I think you want something like a Manta style here. You're up against Entangle. That can really ruin you in the fights.
Brave Chill, that's a big one.
Yeah, your BKB is only 5 seconds. I would say Manta for Xiaotuji. I mean, maybe saving for buyback outside of that.
Yeah, there's no evasion coming out, so you don't need things like MKB.
I do want to point out, Xiaotuji's being eclipsed in terms of farm pretty heavily, and if the game goes late, this is where the Radiance pays off.
I mean, he's still winning.
Big smoke. Here we go. Xiaotuji will lead the way. Actually, sorry, it's a level 3 Dragon Form. Xiaotuji jumps in. Didn't get off his BKB. Does he need it? Doesn't look like it. The Crit Lord is in the house. 2 are going to melt very quickly. Buyback from the Nyx. Now the Dragon slowing everyone down. The Bear trying to body block. Can't do it. Sylar, he might go down here. He'll get bashed. He's going to get blown up. Xiaotuji absolutely out of his mind with these crits. They're not done yet. Mofi's giving chase. Where's the relocate gank to find an extra hero? Not going for it yet. I think they could have had more, but they're worried about the Nyx buyback. They don't want to overextend. And truth be told, there's no BKB on PA. So actually, the safer play, the right play from Rising Stars.
I just want you to click on Xiao A right now and look at the fact that Mech is still up, Roar is still up. He literally did nothing in that team fight. And I think that's why LG has lost it so badly. You drop off a Roar, the push, the stun, and as well as your Spectre feeling more freely to right-click because there's mech armor. That could have been a little bit more different. It could be a little bit more even.
Oh, no.
But now they give up Aegis and Cheese for free. But the good thing is that they didn't have to use a buyback yet on the Spectre, and you will possibly still have it for the next team fight.
And for Rising Stars, this is where you wait for the Dragon Form to cool down, and I think you just go again. You'll have your Heaven's Halberd on air. That's going to be very annoying.
I think they go now. If you force a buyback from Spectre, that's a big win, right?
He's up in 12, though. And there's going to be a glyph, so I don't think it's going to be enough. Maybe if they can find a pick-off here. They'll go now. No Dragon Form for 40 seconds. He does have the cheese, but LGD, they don't want to fight. They're worried about this PA. Up. Not going to go in. They'll just work on the range rack. So they'll take the safer X, and then I think Spectre's now up again. Spectre has buyback as well. This is where you just want to slow roll it, Lumi. You don't have to force the issue too much.
You don't. You really don't. But the impending clock that is known as Spectre is just breathing down.
I still feel there's a lot of time on it. PA wins that man fight with BKB.
I don't know. Not with BKB and buyback, or not with buyback on Sylar.
She certainly wins round 1 of the fight.
Yeah, she does.
And Xiaotuji has buyback and even a Wisp buyback on his side, so he's got 2 lives as well.
Right, they will have to double buyback if the team fight goes poorly and go for it.
Here comes your Dragon Form. Sylar's going to get stunned. Remember, he's got buyback. He's baiting this to a certain extent, hoping that they'll commit heavily. They even use the BKB. This could be a blunder going for Sylar this heavily. They'll bring him down with the Abyssal Blade, but he's going to buy back immediately. Xiaotuji, there's your buyback. Here comes your haunt. Is it going to be enough? Hard to say right now. Chaos in the middle of the fight. Xiaotuji critting everyone. 2 down. He wants more. Can he find it? Sylar is alive here. Xiaotuji bashes him. Is he going to win the man fight, though? He's dropping pretty fast. He'll go down. No, not before Sylar. Yes, before Sylar. He's still got the Aegis, though. He's going to come back.
From Wisp. He's actually in the back of the team fight, and that's what really will allow them. There's a GG call. It looked really bad from Rising Star because they used double BKB. They used the Abyssal Stun, but the Aegis on PA as well as the Wisp buyback sealed the deal.
They had 2 lives on their carries.
They had everything.
Didn't need the BKBs. Great play from Rising Stars, Lumi. I thought there they were maybe going to choke a little bit under the pressure. You have this big lead against LGD, but they're the Titans. They're the big boss, the final boss of this tournament, at least in terms of recent results. The team that was invited lost their invite. Rising Stars jump out to a quick 1-0, and, well, we did call it in the sense that it's all about if Rising Stars get that pocket Wisp. They get it here, and they use it. I don't even think they use the Wisp that well, but LGD was terrified of it.
I think they used the PA very well early game. That's what allowed them to steamroll completely out of control. Got double kills, 2 towers, rotated mid. And it's just actually so hard to defend PA mid when she has a start. She jumps on you, and what do you do with Bear?
I mean, you saw that Bear died from like 3/4 HP to a crit and a couple of auto attacks, and I don't feel the Wisp was used to its full extent here, but I think LGD was just scared of the Wisp. I mean, you saw them, and you mentioned multiple times, sat in the base, they weren't farming. Rising Stars slowly, methodically, they pull ahead. They take game 1. It's a best of 3, though. Gods, Purge, what do you think?
Well, I think we've just seen one of the bigger upsets of the tournament so far. LGD, it's just game 1. They still have game 2, game 3 to look to bounce back, but what a way to start things off for Rising Stars.
Yeah, I absolutely love the draft from Rising Stars. When I was watching the gameplay happen, I just felt like all the heroes really fit together perfectly. I mean, think about PA. First of all, you can jump on Lone Druid really easily in the lane. As that scales in the late game, you have natural evasion. You don't have to spend any money on that, which counters the Bear, so the Bear can't really focus the PA very well until he gets MKB, which is a very late game scenario. And then past that, they got a mid hero who can do pretty well. He can help with the early pushing with the level 1 Dragon Form. You can take towers. And then in the mid to late game, it doesn't have to be PA that gets jumped on. I mean, how many times is the Dragonite that got nuked? Yeah. He got slightly out of position. They would throw the nukes on Dragonite, but he has naturally much more armor than the PA. Just like everything came together so well and allowed the PA to just go dive really deep.
everyone was just naturally tanking that. Well, the two front lines, the DK, the PA. If DK did get jumped on, there was the Wisp with a tether mech. You had the just Wisp keeping people alive in the fights. I mean, they mentioned that Wisp, you hardly even saw relocate, but it feels like the way Rising Stars use Wisp is just about the tether, the shared heals, and just dominating the early game laning stage. They managed to get, you talk about the early towers, they took 5 towers in the first 15, 20 minutes of the game.
It was crazy. It was so many.
Yeah.
I mean, and that helped with the Enchantress as well. They take the first tower, they kill the bear twice. I was talking to Gods about this while we were watching the first match, how great Stifling Dagger is versus Lone Druid, because if you can kill the bear early, I mean, if you look at any other typical tri-lane, you have Chaos Knights and like Venomancers or single target stuns that kind of cost a lot of mana, and they put a lot of focus towards killing the bear, but PA, it's nothing. You spend 40 mana, you slow the bear by 50% for like 3 to 4 seconds, and it gets you so much damage potential. You get a fast phase boost. They could just kill the bear, rinse, repeat. Lone Druid can't do that matchup, and that's why he just got absolutely shut down there, and they got free kills.
Yeah, I think the other big interesting point for me where LG maybe went wrong was somewhat the draft. This is the first time they've ever actually ran an offlane Lone Druid, as far as I could tell from all our stats. Yao playing it, and then they mix that in with a Spectre. Do you feel having Spectre and Lone Druid in the same lineup just gave them too weak of a lanes early on?
I mean, it does. I wouldn't say the lanes are necessarily bad. I think the matchup was bad for the Lone Druid versus PA, but the only other thing that I see as a problem there is when you get into mid-game team fights, if a Lone Druid gets shut down, he's got nothing. And he even skipped boots. He was going armlet before boots because his bearer was just so underfarmed. So it put him in a really bad spot. They got behind early, and they couldn't even team fight to contest the 3rd, 4th, 5th tower.
And it's like you say, you need something like an MKB later on to deal with the PA, and then DK ultimately picks up a Heaven's Howl, but you're not getting an MKB as an offlane Lone Druid.
Yeah.
I think maybe you just want Sylar on that Lone Druid that game. But
I think you're maybe right, but you also look at it, they really made things a lot harder on themselves because they didn't just get the first blood on the Lone Druid. They also got the Nyx Assassin, forced a TP for him. That gave Darkseer more space top. And then Xiao 8 comes in. He wastes time, not mid. Tier 1 drops quickly as well. So I feel like I was okay with it, but not when they give up that many kills. And that's where just don't seem to respect Wisp or know how to play defensively enough against it.
Yeah, I just want to get the analyst's opinion on how close of a 15,000 goal lead was that game. Because remember that team fight where Xiao 8 did nothing?
yeah.
Like, if the team fight went a little bit better, if they traded evenly, if they didn't give up a free Aegis and Cheese, I think we would be still casting this game right now.
I think it had the potential.
Yeah.
I think it had the potential to go really long. So your 60+ minute game. I know you were talking about one of the first pushes that came out from Rising Stars when LG held it off, and you're like, LG has got this. I don't think it was quite at that point. They were still behind by 10k plus gold, but it wasn't a case where in Rising Stars book it was in the books for them. The problem was Spectre. He went Radiance first as well, which also made him a lot squishy. So every fight he was just getting blown up to start things off. He needed more farm. He needed to progress later. I feel like Rising Stars, even though they did have a bit of a hard time breaking the high ground, they never really looked like they were that. It never really looked like LGD were back in the game quite yet. It looked like it could turn over, but it never did.
Yeah, I think the linchpin for the first 2 pushes being successful is that Spectre would feel safe in his positioning, and the Darkseer would always make a play. They would vacuum him 300 units closer to the enemy team, and then the Dragon Tail would come in, land the 2.5 second stun, and that's when they got to focus down Sylar. And that happened twice in the first 2 fights. I felt LGD honestly did excellent defending. Like, they made the game go that long. It was impressive. But, I mean, eventually you're going to have a fight that doesn't go quite ideally, and when your opponents have that much of a gold advantage, it just shuts the game down. So I think they did a great job.
Well, that's game 1, guys. We'll be back with game 2 soon. LGD, the favorites of this qualifier, have their backs against the wall. We're going to see if they can come back, take game 2, take game 3 as well after a quick break.